What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about niches on Redbubble, on TeePublic, any kind of print-on-demand site that I'll never touch, I'll never deal with, I'll never create on. So, essentially, you could think of these as pieces of art that I won't work on or won't produce, ever. And this is going to be part one, or video number one, of a two-part series, where the next video of this series will be my favorite niches for print on demand. So essentially, I'm going to be talking about niches that I won't design in, or categories that I won't design for. And then the second video will be niches or categories that I do design for. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. First of all, before we even talk about what those niches, what those categories are, the reason why I don't touch these is just very, very simple. I don't want to get banned. I don't want my work to get suspended. I don't want to have any negative backlash in any sort of way. And more importantly, I'm really basically kind of moving away from taboo topics, topics that are just simply not appreciated, just simply too much. And there are a lot of those topics. With that being said, think of this being like the goody two-shoes of print on demand. At the end of the day, you want to be a quote-unquote goody two-shoes because, let's face it, the reality is you do not own the platform, neither do I, and neither does anybody else who utilizes these platforms. So we have to, essentially abide by what they say, or else we'll just simply be kicked off the platform. There's really no other approach to it. And I'm making a separate video on this in the future, talking about this, but, it is what it is. It's just something we have to deal with. So number one, politics. Now, don't get me wrong, some of this stuff is allowed on other platforms, but I just simply don't do it. It's a code, a moral ethic, not ethics or morals even. It's just a thing that I don't do. I don't touch these kind of topics. Trump, Biden, any kind of president. You guys have seen the Let's Go Biden shirts, Let's Go Trump shirts, Let's Go Hillary shirts. You're not going to see me make shirts like that, ever, or designs or anything like that. Anything that has to do with politics, I'm not in it. Whether it's a design about a political policy, political belief, even things that even just are around the political conception, like for example, Let's Go Brandon. You're not going to hear me say create designs like that. The reason why I say that is because the political stuff is a very gray line. It's not necessarily black or white, and it could be that one suspension of a piece of work, that one piece of art that gets you taken down. And the way I look at it is, why would I put myself at risk for one piece of art that could potentially sell a lot? Because at the end of the day, even if that one piece sells a lot, how much is it realistically going to sell? 20 sales, 50 sales, 100 sales in a period of a week, a few days? Well, I could make many more sales for that month. I could make many more sales for that year, for the next 3 months. For the next 5 months, I could make 10 times, 20 times, 50 times more sales during that period of time. So the way I look at it, it's just not worth it to me. Okay, so anything political, I do not touch whatsoever. All right. Number two, any type of SJW content, anything about sexual orientation, anything about, is he male, is he female, is he they, is she, whatever, all these different pronoun type stuff. I don't touch that stuff. I don't touch anything in the SJW world. Now, it's fine if you're in that kind of world, enjoy. I personally don't touch it. I don't go near it. I don't create content for it. This is one of those things that are one of those touchy subjects. You have people who are just against it fully, like this type of stuff, and you have people that are for it fully. To me, my personal opinions have nothing to do with my production, my work on these print-on-demand platforms, which is kind of irrelevant. So I leave this stuff alone. Plus, there's enough drama going on in these kind of worlds that I don't touch this stuff. I don't need to be involved in it. So any kind of stuff in this kind of world, I don't go near it. The next one, number 3, profanity, cursing, swearing. This is kind of obvious. I believe this is actually a policy within I'll give you an example, Redbubble policies. They say that you can't use profanity, but I see it all the time on the platform. Trust me, for me, profanity is not going to make my design any better. And that's just the way I think of it. If I use profanity, if I use swearing, it's not going to make my design that much better. It really isn't. It really, really isn't. So for me, it's not worth it. Because if they decide to start really cracking down on this kind of stuff, it's not going to matter until it actually matters, if that makes sense. Like right now, it doesn't matter. You can post stuff with profanity and nobody cares. But it could be in a year, 2 years, 5 years, maybe a few months where, hey, your design gets taken down. And how bad is it if they decide to enforce the rule where anybody who uses profanity gets completely banned off the platform, can never create a store again? Well, that's going to suck. So I don't go into the profanity world, cursing, swearing. And the way I look at it, like I said, is that it's not going to really improve the art of my design. It's just not. So I don't do it. The next one, movie scenes, characters, video games. I used to actually do this, the video game world. I used to do like playoffs and things like that. I didn't just, rip it off the internet. But then I realized it was just not worth it. It was just not worth it. I've seen so many people get attacked in a negative way for this, and it just wasn't worth it for me. At the end of the day, those movies are created by producers. They're created by actors. They're created by people that work hard to produce that product. And there's no right for me to, I guess you could say, make money off of those markets. That's the reality. And so I stopped doing that. Any kind of copyrighted material that somebody else owns. It could be, for example, I'll give you an example. In the Viking space, people will take like a picture of the female Viking Lagertha, for example. They'll just take a picture of her, post it as a poster on Redbubble. You could do that. You might get away with it, but it's infringing. It's the same thing with Arcane, for example. You guys familiar with the series Arcane? We actually covered this on the YouTube channel. But when Arcane came out, it was a huge trend on Redbubble. People were going like crazy for it. And people were just literally opening up the series on TV, screenshotting it, and putting it as posters on Redbubble for sale. And did they make money? Absolutely they did. But here's the thing. You're making money off of somebody else's work. If Redbubble catches wind, if Arcane catches wind, and they want it down, they're going to get it taken down. There's no, ifs, ands, or buts. There's no negotiations. And once that happens, your content, your store could go down with it. Your account could go down with it. And it could be permanent. So it's just not worth it for me anymore. Something that I would just want to read here says, more importantly, the word is copyrighted. Now, when I talk about the word, what am I talking about? When you create those designs, usually they don't screen for the actual image, but they screen for the keywords. There's an automated system that checks for the keywords. And the keywords that you're probably going to use, they're probably going to be copyrighted as well, trademarked, whatever you want to call it. It's going to trigger their system. And then when it triggers their system, that could potentially stop your image from being posted. And when it stops it, you could consider that a negative blemish on your account. The more of those that you get, it's just a matter of time till you get removed. So it could be very costly for the status of your account, whether you own your account or it gets taken down. Next one, someone else's art. Now, this is kind of obvious, but I feel like I have to say this anyway because the unfortunate thing is this is happening on a daily basis, even to my art. People are taking art that you create, hard work, and they're just copying it and pasting on their account. I mean, there's no, I don't know what the word is, remorse. There's no feeling. There's no nothing. They literally just take it pixel for pixel. This should be obvious, but I don't do this. I don't get involved in this. Nowhere near do I even go through this because at the end of the day, I have my own creative abilities, and I think with my own abilities, I can make my own art. There's no reason to copy somebody else's work. The way I look at it is you can create variations, you can create your own style of things, but nowhere near should you copy. But I figured I'd say this because this is happening on a daily basis to so many artists, and I've had thousands of I would say I'm exaggerating, probably hundreds of complaints throughout all these videos that I've made of people saying people are straight up copying my work. What should I do? The answer is report them, take them down. All right. Number 6, pictures of models, celebrities, influencers, actors. The list goes on and on for this. Yes, this is easy money. And yes, most likely the celebrity is not going to go and fight and take your stuff down because you have it on there. It's probably not going to happen. They probably have other things that are better to do. But I would not do this. Because what if in the case they do? What if the company does? What if something happens where, a company, let's just use Transformers the movie #1, right? They say, "Wow, we did the research and there are millions and millions of dollars that are being essentially sold off of Megan Fox posters," right? I mean, you guys know that poster, that famous Megan Fox poster of the of when she's like opening the car hood. You guys know what I'm talking about in that movie. I bet you that thing is ripped off on the internet everywhere and being sold. Maybe they calculate, okay, X amount of money is being made off of that per year. We could benefit as a company from that, as a business from that. We're going to take all these guys down. Now, once again, it's going to be rare that this happens, but it's going to happen to some people. Now, it might not necessarily happen for that company, but it could happen with any other influencer, with any other celebrity, with any other situation. I remember during the celebrity boxing match, I think it was FaZe K or something like that. It was some sort of FaZe member. I mean, he won the boxing match, and people were just straight up taking pictures of him, posting it on Redbubble, posting it on different places for sale. And that guy took them all down, believe it or not, or his company or whoever took it all down, and they started selling their own posters of it. The point is that just be aware, just be wary, just realize that what you're doing, at the end of the day, you don't have the right to do it. It's that content belongs to somebody else, and it won't be protected under fair use. I know a lot of people get away with fair use on Redbubble, but the reality is an image like that won't be protected under fair use. All right. The next one, logos, emblems of other companies. So this should be obvious, but I see people all the time taking things like the Mercedes logo, the BMW logo, posting it and putting it up for sale. You could do that, but just realize that you're, once again, infringing on other people's intellectual property, their hard work, the results that they've worked for. It doesn't belong to you. And at the end of the day, this is something that I will not engage in. Doesn't matter how much money you offer me. Doesn't matter if you offer me $1,000 per design every month. It's just not worth it. Because at the end of the day, I can make more if I stick to my own account and do what's right over a longer period of time. And if we take the income that you generate over a longer period of time, 9 times out of 10, you're going to make more money anyway. So there's really no need to get into this stuff. And honestly, these are the things that I could think of now. I'm sure there are more. I'm sure there are more things that you shouldn't really post on, or you shouldn't really design on, or produce works for. But the reality is that I'm sure we've all done this somewhere or another. I mean, I'm sure. The reality is it exists. But let's try to cut down on that. And like I said, I'm guilty. I did the video game stuff before. The whole video game thing. It was fun for me at the time. But now I realize that even fan art, even art that you create yourself as a fan, could potentially be taken down. And that's just the way it is. I mean, it's just the reality. And so, do I blame them for it? Absolutely not. Because the reality is, it's somebody else's hard work. And think of it this way: if you own that video game, if you own that movie, if you were that actor, that celebrity, would you want somebody else to make money off your work? The answer is probably no. So this is part 1 of the video series, niches that I won't touch or work, essentially designs that I'll never create for print on demand. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.